Continue eating as we move into the program portion of the night. If I may have your attention, we'll begin tonight's festivities. We're going to start things off with a special award. Several people are being honored this award. As many of you know, Marcus Whitehead was one of the founding members of Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. He provided music for us for quite a few years as well. Marcus was a dedicated supporter of both athletics and academics, so it was only natural upon his untimely passing in 2019 that the board decided to name our annual Scholar Athletes Awards in his memory. Each year we recognize two Mary Persons senior graduates, a male and a female, for their outstanding successes in the classroom and on the playing field. Our first Marcus Whitehead Student Athlete Award recipient for 2026 is Taylor Mosteller. Taylor has played on the varsity softball team at MP for the past 3 years. She was either an all-region first team, second team, or honorable mention selection as an infielder in all 3 of her varsity seasons, including being named as the team's defensive most valuable player as a junior. As a senior in 2025, Taylor was the team captain of an MP squad that captured the Region 2 AAA championship, which was just the second region title in program history, and reached the Sweet 16 of the GHSA AAA state playoffs. Taylor also played varsity basketball at MP for 2 years and was the team manager for MP baseball. She'll be attending Gordon State College this fall, where she'll play on the Gordon State softball team and study biology. Y'all give a round of applause for Ms. Taylor. Congratulations. Our next Marcus Whitehead Student Athlete Award recipient for 2026 is Josiah Knight. Josiah was a defensive lineman on the MP football team for the past 3 years. He was named a second team all-region selection as a junior when he finished with a team-high 17 tackles for loss. Knight also played on the MP varsity basketball team for the past 3 years, finishing as the squad's leading rebounder in his junior and senior seasons. Josiah will be attending Clayton State University this fall, where he'll play on the football team. Congratulations. Yeah, we all come up here and pause a few minutes for a few seconds at least for pictures. All right. Next is a special award. We're going to present the Dan Pitts Memorial Scholarship Award. This is our 3rd year giving out the Dan Pitts Memorial Scholarship Award. The recipient is a Mary Persons senior football player whose outstanding performance and leadership embodies the culture of excellence fostered by the legendary Coach Pitts. This award, which has been made possible by generous donations by members of our local community, is now being administered by the Community Foundation of Central Georgia. I want to invite to the stage one of our board members, Mr. Joe Evans, to discuss the significance of the Dan Pitts Memorial Scholarship Award.
Thank you, Richard. As Richard said, about 3 years ago, the board decided that we needed to do something in perpetual memory of what Coach Dan Pitts has meant to us, to this school, and this community. And we formed a 501c3 corporation, so what you give is tax deductible. And we've been pretty successful raising some dollars in the first few years. As Richard said, we've put the first round of fundraising into the Community Foundation of Central Georgia, and unless they blow it, we should be able, out of that, to give a $1,000 scholarship a year in perpetuity. But there's a second thing that we want to accomplish with this. It's bigger than money. We want to put a plaque out where the Hall of Fame honorees are going to be honored that will list the names of everybody who participated in this scholarship, in funding the scholarship, without regard to how much. It's going to list names if you gave $5 or if you gave $500. And right now, if we did that plaque, we have about 30 names on it. And I think if I look around this room, I can see a whole lot more lives that were touched by Coach Dan Pitts. Either you played for him, either you had a family member that played for him, or you just had the benefit of living in a community that was a better community because of the atmosphere he set here. Because of that, this scholarship recognizes not the fastest, not the biggest, not the most talented, but it recognizes the player who left it all on the field, came to practice, gave it all. It really was the kind of player that Coach Pitts built his winning records over. Yeah, Hall of Fame honorees, when they came along, it was icing on the cake. But this room is full of folks that can identify with what we just described that we're honoring with the Dan Pitts Memorial Scholarship. You showed up, you gave it all, you learned the plays, you came to practice. And wherever you are in life today, I guarantee you if you played for Coach Dan Pitts, you're in a better place today than if you hadn't had crossed his path. So with that in mind, if you look on the table, these are envelopes. All right? And if you'll also look in your pocket, and if you could pull out a $5 bill, if you could just pull out a $5 bill, put your name on it, and check this scholarship, I'd like, instead of having 30 names on that plaque out at the Hall of Fame, I'd like to have 300 names on that plaque. And again, how much you give doesn't matter. It does not matter. But just a gesture of what that man meant to us, to this community, and to everybody that's ever crossed his path. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Now, to introduce this year's Dan Pitts Memorial Scholarship recipient, I want to welcome to the stage Mary Persons football coach Brian Nelson.
Appreciate it, Richard. And I'm going to add on to what Joe said too. I think of all the years I've been coaching, this year's recipient is probably someone who Coach Pitts would have really loved to coach. And it happens to be my son, Mac Nelson. He can come up here. I didn't necessarily love to coach him all the time, but Coach Pitts would have loved to coach him. But I think what Coach Pitts would have loved is Mac really loved Mary Persons football. And from the time he was about 5 years old, when I got the head job, to when he was 18, played his last game, he deeply cared about Mary Persons. He knows all the history, he knows all the facts. He was at every practice before he had to be in practice. He was there when he was 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, every day, every practice. Carrying a water bottle, helping paint fields, helping do laundry, do whatever. Everything that Coach Pitts would have wanted. And so to me, I think he just fits the bill. And not because he's my son, but because that is who Coach Pitts was. And I don't know that I've ever coached a player, maybe one or two, that cared more about Mary Persons football than Mac did. And I think that's a good attribute, and I'm proud of him, and I think Coach Pitts would have been proud too. So the recipient of this year's Dan Pitts Memorial Scholarship is Mac Nelson.
Congratulations, Mac. Next up, we're going to recognize this year's Teams of the Year. We'll start with the 1962 girls. 1962 Mary Persons girls basketball team, coached by Carmen Trevitt Sr. It was the first squad in program history to reach the semifinal round of the GHSA tournament. They defeated North Gwinnett 33-28 in the Class B quarterfinals before falling to Blackshear 37-27 in the Class B semifinals. The senior team members on that team included Jean Abernathy, Donna Brasher, Elaine Childs, who was a co-captain, Rita Dumas, the team manager, Brenda Lancaster, Elizabeth Lord, Virginia Starr, who was another co-captain, and Patsy Vedder. Do we have any members of the 1962 team who were able to make it here tonight? All right, will y'all give a round of applause, and I'll accept their award. Next up, the 1966, I know we got him here. 1966 Mary Persons girls basketball team, coached by Baskin Beckham, was the second MP team to go to the GHSA Final Four. They defeated Manor 45-40 in the Class B quarterfinals before coming up just short 57-55 against Stone Mountain in the Class B semifinals. Team members included Brenda Abernathy, who was co-captain, Andy Brasher, Beverly Chappell, Karen Childs, Margie Christian, Dolores Cole, Teresa Frazier, Priscilla Grant, who was the co-captain, Vicki Griffin, Anita Harper, Rebecca Johnson, the team manager, Julianne Kempson, another co-captain, Joyce Lifeseed, Connie Maddox, Fran Mitchell, Beverly Parker, Julia Pippin, Kathy Pritchett, Deborah Stewart, and Peggy Watkins. So would the 1966 girls team please come up front? Y'all even brought a basketball.
Thank you very much for honoring the team of 1966. I think I speak for all of us when I say we really enjoyed playing basketball for Mary Persons.
All right.
And the two, three remarks I wanted to make. First of all, we've lost two of our members. We've lost Julia Pippin, and then one of our co-captains, Brenda Abernathy, are no longer with us, but they would have enjoyed being here to have our team recognized. And I know we're being recognized because we went to the Final Four in the state, but those of us who were seniors or juniors in 1966 have another record at Mary Persons basketball. I'm going to ask Andy to hold up her jacket. And you will see there are 3 consecutive region championships.
All right.
1964, 1965. And I know Baskin Beckham was our coach the last year, but I think all the girls would agree. We learned a lot of basketball fundamentals, we learned team spirit, we learned drive, stick-to-itiveness, and a lot of practice, a lot of hard work under John Malcolm, Buzzy McMillan, and I want his name to be called. I developed our skills under him. And there are at least two more people in this audience who need to be recognized. When you're out there playing, you're thinking about the game, but you also know how much you're being supported. And we have at least two members of our cheerleading squad out here. Teresa Harkness and Nita Franklin, y'all stand up. Basketball uniform on, but you were part of our team effort. So thank you very much, and thank you to the Sports Hall of Fame for recognizing our class.
Now we're going to recognize the 1968 Mary Persons boys basketball team coached by Johnny Waters, which remains to this day the only MP boys basketball squad in program history to make it to the Final Four of the GHSA state tournament. They blew out a then undefeated Banks County 72-54 in the Class B quarterfinals before being edged out 57-53 by Wilcox County in the Class B semifinals. Team members include Dennis Cole, co-captain, Hugh Cromer, Walton Davis, Larry Garto, J. Ray Grant, Jackie Green, Cleve Hicks, Bill Howard, Bill Jenkins, Joe Josie, Steve Melton, other co-captain, Dennis Peavy, Bobby Shell, Charles Smarr, and Eddie Smith. Y'all give a round of applause and y'all stand up and come up front if you're here. Come up here and say a word. A few of them were asked earlier, so they all know that. Y'all want to take a picture over next to us? Okay. We got another photo off here in the back. Sorry. One of our team members is seated back there, so we're going to get a picture, the whole group together. Then Mr. Cromers wants to say a few words.
Thank God for this honor. Basketball has never been one of the premier sports for very persons up until our team, our guys got together just on the elementary school grounds. We played on a clay court over the old Banksfield Cathedral building. And it just so happened that we just believed it would be a very good basketball team. Some of our highlights were we went to region tournament, played a team, we went to the state tournament, played a team in Banks County, which is in North Georgia. They were the only undefeated team in the state of Georgia in any classification, and they left there a loser that night. I also went to Macon Coliseum and always ask people, you remember what happened that night? You have anything to do with basketball. It shows how much times have changed. In that auditorium that night, you could stand at center court, and all around you where the fans were, you couldn't pick a person out. The reason is, it's still smoke. I don't know why I mentioned that, except I'm a pharmacist, and I think this is one good thing that's really happened in our society. We had a great time playing basketball. We had a great time playing in front of God. I just thank you.
All right, next we have another special award. We're going to recognize our 2026 Mary Linda and Dan Pitts Extra Mile Award recipient. This year's Extra Mile Award winner is Kimberly, notice Kim, Walton. Kim's a 1984 Mary Persons graduate. She was the Mary Persons basketball team statistician for an incredible 27 years, spanning the tenure of a handful of basketball coaches. Kim's the oldest daughter of the late Elijah Sr. and Bessie M. Walton. She's the mother of Deambia R. Shannon and Dr. Quintre A. Shannon. Kim found her love for basketball at a young age when she learned that Basketball Hall of Famer Elvin Hayes is her cousin. And then later on, she also discovered another Basketball Hall of Famer, David Robinson, is related to her as well. Kim began her own playing career at the Monroe County Recreation Department, where she was coached by Rosemary Walker and Sally Bentley. She then went on to play in middle school under Coach Richard Welch. After her own girls' game, she'd race over to the scorer's table to keep the stats for the B-team boys' game. Then later, after a trio of knee injuries ended her own athletic dreams, Kim began keeping the scorebooks for the MP high school basketball teams. She continued keeping the books for 27 years under coaches David Moore, David Carey, Gary Walker, Robert Worthy, and Dwayne Evans. Thank you, Kim, for your unsung yet still remarkable contributions to our local sports community. Next, we want to pay tribute to a member of the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame who passed away on May 9th. Legendary Georgia high school football coach and Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame class of 2018 inductee Rodney Walker was a Forsyth native and Mary Persons alumnus who completed his 4-decade head coaching career with a 6-year tenure at Mary Persons ending in 2011. Walker is one of just 15 coaches in Georgia high school football history to win 300 or more games, and along with son Chip, comprised the state's first father-son duo ever to win state championships as head coaches. I'd now like to invite to the stage Walker's longtime friend and assistant coach, Mr. Pat Burdett, to share a few words about Coach Nelson. Coach Walker.
It's an honor for me to be here and be able to say these few words about Coach Walker. I coached with him for 17 years, so my 41 years coaching in 5 different schools he was a great coach, a great mentor, and even a better person. This was evident in the outpouring foreign players and coaches and friends at his celebration of life ceremony in Newnan a couple of weeks ago. Coach Walker spent his life helping others become better versions of themselves. He taught more than the game. He taught discipline, character, hard work, and respect. Coach Walker challenged players and coaches alike to be better people. The lessons he shared will guide us long after the final whistle sounds. Coach Walker was a strong leader. His players and coaches knew he cared about them, not just what they could accomplish on the field, but who they were as individuals, and he believed in people often before they believed in themselves. Many of us are better fathers, brothers, husbands, and friends because of his influence. Coach Walker loved Forsyth and took great pride in Merry Christmas. He never forgot where he came from. He poured his heart into the community that helped shape him and worked hard to give back to the school and to the people he loved. His loyalty and dedication were evident in everything he did. Just about a week before he passed, Coach Nelson and I took him through the new field house. He was in awe, stating it was the Taj Mahal and long overdue. We sat on the third floor looking to the stadium and telling stories of former athletes who came through the program. One of those athletes was Alvin Coles. He told me he was advocating for Alvin to be inducted into the GHSA Players Hall of Fame. One of his influences in his life was his high school coach, Dan Pitts. The values and lessons he learned as a young athlete stay with him throughout his life. In many ways, he carried that legacy forward, becoming the kind of coach that would inspire future generations, just as he was inspired by Coach Pitts. While we mourn Coach Walker's passing, we also celebrate a life that made a difference. His impact cannot be measured in wins and losses. It is found in the lives he touched, the confidence he built, the character he developed, and the countless memories he created. Coach Walker's legacy lives on in every player he coached, every student he encouraged, every coach he mentored, and every person fortunate enough to know him. Though he may no longer be with us in person, his wisdom and his spirit remain with us forever. Thank you, Coach, for your leadership, for your guidance, your friendship. You will be missed and never forgotten. May you rest in peace.
Before we induct the new inductees in the Hall of Fame, we have one more award we'd like to give out. We want to give a special thanks to longtime Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame Chairman Jim Harden and his better half, Jackie. Jim has served 2 stints as the board's chairman, first from 2017 to 19, and again most recently from 2023 to 25. Jim is considered to be the founder of the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame, having brought together community leaders such as Bobby Melton, Keith Edge, Penny Mitchell, and others beginning in 2016 to make his dream of having a local sports Hall of Fame a reality. Jim, who is now the board's vice chairman, has continued to serve on the board throughout the Hall's 9 years of existence and has remained the driving force behind the board's success. Meanwhile, Jackie has stepped in and capably handled our marketing, our website design and updates, our program design, and anything else that requires more technological capabilities than the rest of us have. We would like to give Jim and Jackie a shared award tonight as a small token of appreciation for their years of hard work and dedication to the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. Jim and Jackie, please come to the front. Everybody give them a round of applause.
Thank y'all.
officially induct our 2026 Hall of Fame class. I'm going to turn the program over to the man who needs no introduction, 13 WMAZ anchor, and our longtime banquet MC, Mr. Frank Lloyd.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 2026 Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. What a group we have tonight. I do want to mention Jim Harden. Jim, we failed to mention you scored the winning touchdown in your state championship football game for the FPD Vikings back in the 1980s. It was about a 50-yard run or so. 72. I was there to cover it. It took him about a minute and a half to cover those 73 yards. But he did it. It was a muddy field though, Jim, I remember. All right, let's get started tonight. This is a wonderful group tonight. Football players, basketball players, track stars. We have a shot putter. We even have a shooter. We have bulldogs. We have a Mustang. And we have a tiger. The one thing they all have in common is they left an indelible mark on the sports community in Forsyth and Monroe County, worthy of induction tonight into the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. We begin tonight with his own human highlight reel. This man could run, and it was a good thing because when you played for day and pitch, you ran a lot. He accumulated over 3,000 yards in his high school career. 1,500 of them came in his junior year. He scored 46 touchdowns. 20 of them came in the junior year when he led his team to the state championship. He was an all-state performer. As good as he was as a running back, he was equally as skilled as a defensive back. Good enough to earn a scholarship to the University of Georgia, where he played alongside legendary defensive backs Champ Bailey and Kirby Smart. He ran fast. He never slowed down until he reached the end zone. Tonight, though, he puts the brakes on just long enough to earn induction into the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2026, Quentin Davis.
I would like to say thank you.
Well, we'll do a picture first.
All right, ladies.
First off, I would like to thank God. My mom, she broke a leg for us. She made it happen. You have 2 children in the Hall of Fame now in Monroe County. And that's a blessing. And I want to thank everybody that helped me along my way to make it happen, from my great coach, the college coach, to Tom. I would like to thank y'all. And I appreciate the love of all y'all. And once a bullet, always a bullet.
Quentin was one of the best at NP. Our next inductee was one of the best at Monroe Academy. They had legendary girls' high school basketball teams. She was one of the very best. She was a 3-time All-Stater. She led her team to a state championship, and when I say led in the championship game, she scored 27 points and had 15 rebounds. She scored over 1,700 points in her high school career, over 1,200 points in her college career. She was so good with points that eventually she became a math teacher so she could work with numbers. Her star shined the very brightest on the biggest stages. And tonight it shines brightly on this stage as we induct her into the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2026. Please welcome Amy Haygood.
honored to be here tonight. I'm honored that my athletic accomplishments and achievements at Monroe Academy have been deemed worthy of recognition here tonight. And I'm honored to be recognized alongside several other well-deserving athletes. I worked really hard to be good at basketball when I was a lot younger, and I know you did too, and I commend you on your hard work and your recognition tonight. I want to thank my family for being here tonight and for always supporting me. They all gave me some great ideas to talk about how I should give them credit for all of my basketball accomplishments. When I talked about my trepidation for being up here tonight, but really, I think I'm just going to mention my mom because I've got a big family. We're taking up 2 tables back there. My mom wanted me to let you all know that the only reason I was ever any good at basketball is because she signed me up for tap and ballet when I was 5 years old. Now, Mama, I'm not sure that now is a great time to tell you, but I'm not sure the cause and effect of that is exactly as you thought it was to be. That did inspire me to find something that I wasn't naturally bad at. So thank you for that opportunity. No, in all seriousness, my mom has never taken credit for anything I've done, and I appreciate it. I want to thank my high school coaches, Coach Jerry Sater. They were the best. I can back that up with a lot of numbers, a lot of stats, but I'm going to wait because I think maybe there'll be someone else up there one day. Basketball at Monroe Academy in the 90s was special. No doubt. The bar was high. We worked hard. The gym was hot, but that didn't seem to be considered. We had so much fun, and we won a lot. In fact, we were the state champs in 1995.
Alert, no network detected.
We were the state champs in 1995. Last but not least, I want to thank my wife, Jen, back there, and my 2 sons, Levi and Ace, for being here with me tonight. Most of you probably don't know this, but in North Carolina, we were still in school this week. And so my boys agreed to come here and be with me tonight, even though they were missing basketball practice and a jamboree this weekend. So we're going to hit the road early tomorrow so that they can get back and get ready for basketball on Tuesday. They're going to Wake Forest. My apples didn't roll far from the tree. They love basketball about as much as I do, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Our next inductee was a Bulldog. He was an MP Bulldog, and he was a Bulldog on the field. He was a 4-year letterman. He was a captain. He was an all-state player as a tackle. He was the team's best defensive player. He helped lead MP to the school's first region title. He went on to GMC, where he was an all-conference performer. He was a tenacious defender who never, ever quit on a play. And tonight, he earns his reward. Induction into the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame class of 2026. Tommy Ivy has passed away, but he is represented tonight by his son, Chris Ivy. The next member of this class, Tommy Ivy. Chris, if you want to come on up.
So I'm Tommy Rosie Ivy's oldest son. I was asked to accept this award and speak on behalf of the family. And, well, there's a lot of people there. You know, I don't normally speak in front of crowds, so you just have to bear with me. Funny story. back in college when I actually took a speech class. I remember the professor telling us that if you get nervous making a speech, just imagine everyone in the crowd in their underwear. As I look in the crowd, we had all this food. Some of y'all need to put your clothes on. I can't. Isn't it so nice to have people in this community that think enough about each other to honor their very best? They're homegrown athletes. It's great. Hats off to the board, everyone who made this tonight possible. You guys really knocked it out of the park. This is top notch. Our county is so fortunate to have people involved and dedicated to celebrating and recognizing the achievements of the best athletes. Excellence in sports. That, I believe, is the reoccurring theme tonight. Now, there are many definitions of excellence, but in simple terms, excellence means greatness, the very best. And achieving excellence is not easy to do. You athletes being honored tonight, you know what I'm talking about. You're being recognized as the very best. You put in the hard work, the long hours, the practice, preparation, studying film, studying your opponents, as well as perfecting your technique. All these efforts paved the way for your success on the field when it mattered the most. Now, I obviously wasn't around back when Dad put in the work and actually earned this award, but I'm sure his path was essentially the same as yours. And I must admit, I don't know all his stats and highlights other than from what I've read and what stories that people have told me. You see, Dad was extremely humble. He never really talked about football. But I do know he was always a leading tackler. He had several games where he had multiple interceptions, pick sixes, fumble recoveries, sacks, all while playing both sides of the ball. Rosie was a tough guy raised in rural Monroe County. He played in the 50s and 60s where there were no water breaks. There was no taking your helmet off during practice for the games. I'll tell you what, I'm just trying to keep my thoughts through here. Thinking back many years ago, there we go. When I was a freshman in high school, I went to my first football camp at Mary Persons. I remember telling Dad how hard we had it. I told him Coach Pitts made us get up like way before daylight and run. It was really hot. They made us do a drill called ABCs, and it was always in the muddiest part of the practice field. I said, they made us drink salt water. That was in the morning, and they may have given us like 1 or 2 water breaks in the evening. Well, he laughed, and he said, when he played, Coach Pitts loaded them all up in a bus and sent them down to Moultrie, Georgia for their summer football. They had to sleep in army barracks, and of course, there was no air conditioning. And they didn't have any water breaks. They were given salt fields. Nice. For those of you who didn't know him, a couple of Rosie's attributes that helped him excel in football were brute strength and aggression. I can tell you this, even later in life, he was a strong man. Me and my brother Jay back there, we never tried it. Ever. Mom told me a story, and I've got a bunch of stories about his strength, but Mom told me a story about, back in the day, Monroe County had a bunch of wooden bridges, and they had these horizontal boards that you had to stay on. You keep the tires on. If you got off the straight, you get your tire get stuck. Well, apparently back in the day, Dad was riding out in the woods and went over one of those bridges, and his tire went off the train. Well, there's no cell phones, not going nowhere. What did he do? He got out and he picked that full-size pickup truck and put it back on. It was awesome. You shook his hand and you knew he had grips. So I've had people tell me this story all the time. So Dad, he played Mary Persons. He was offered a scholarship to Clemson, but he chose to stay close to home. He played at Georgia Military College. He played there, had a good career. And then he went, Vietnam hit, he went to National Guard. And so he went to National Guard as a cook. He loved to cook. Well, they told me the story where there's a guy that didn't really know him. He was kind of messing with him about being a cook. And they said, hey, Tommy. They throw him an apple and said, show him the trick. He'd catch it and he'd squish it in applesauce. It was strong. From what I told Dad, he liked to hit people and hit them hard. He put several opponents in the hospital during all of his time at Mary Persons and Gordon Military College. I tell you what, I didn't get any of those attributes. Hell, I didn't even inherit his full head of hair. But he coached. I played ball, and he was always, one of the coaches. And he'd say, hey, you always give 110% effort, and you have zero hesitation. And his one saying was, you screw up, you better do it full speed. So I'm going to wrap it up. I just want to congratulate the athletes who are being honored tonight. You and your families should be so proud, and I know you are. And on behalf of the family, I want to thank the board for recognizing my dad. It's been a real honor speaking with you all tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
My very first year covering high school football in Central Georgia was 1982, and our next inductee was a player on the 1982 Mary Persons football team. Now, I'm not implying he's old, but I will imply he was very good. He was tenacious. He was a beast. He was a linebacker. He was a captain. He was a leading tackler. He was All-Middle Georgia. He was a North-South All-Star. Helped his team get to the state championship on 2 different occasions. In the spring, he ran track, where he was a state champion in the 400, a region champion in the 400 meters, one of the most difficult events there is. He went on to West Georgia, where he played safety, and then a long career as an administrator and a coach. He led by example, and his excellence impacted the lives of countless of people. And tonight, we want to say thank you by inducting him into the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2026. Please welcome Calvin Scandrett.
Good evening. Thank you to the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. It is indeed an honor to be here. I look around the room to see some of the young people here, and this is something that they're probably going to dream of. When I was coming through, it wasn't there. There was a wall of fame in the school that was there, and I got a chance to see some great players on that wall. One of the people that was there was a guy by the name of Buzz Porch, who was a coach there, and another guy was Bodie Davis, who was on there. These guys inspired me to dream about being a Wall of Fame type player. I remember one pregame meal going to Coach Pitts. We ended up standing out in the lobby together, and I told him, I said, one day, I want to be on that wall. And he simply replied, I hope you make it. I hope you make it. And I was fortunate enough to make it there. And golly, I never thought of this. It wasn't around. When we started doing this, I think 90 years ago, I saw some names, some very worthy people to be there, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I did that much. I made some plays and had some good times there, but I don't know if I and worthy of that. So I'm thankful, grateful to be here. I had some things I wanted to say, but I think I could get everything out. I have a lot of people here. We spilled over with 2 tables and a little bit more, and I didn't get here by myself. I had a lot of issues coming up, a lot of issues. I stand before you, I was a shy guy. I faced a lot of adversity, lost my parents divorced when I was 3rd grade, lost my dad when I was 11, just went through a lot. Probably needed, today they have counselors, I probably needed a lot of it. I probably needed a lot of it. Those that know me here, you can attest to that. This community helped me. This community helped me. So I want to talk about that a little bit, but before I do that, I didn't get a chance. My wife helped me to write my little bio, and I didn't get a chance to put her on there. When I'm talking here, I'm talking about 17 years of my life. I'm talking about 17 years. That was it. I left to go to college. I was 17 years old. I turned 18 in college on September the 30th. So I was very, very young. And but what I want to say is, when I need to talk about my family, because I didn't get a chance to talk to them about them before. My wife is the best thing that's happened to me since I left for Cyprus. We've been married for 35 years. Come June 22nd, 35 years. My parents got divorced. What I learned from that is, and Dennis and Jane, my siblings, they'll tell you a different story. The first time I heard my parents argue was the last day I saw my daddy at that house. So hopefully my kids can tell you that they never heard their parents argue. I said that we haven't. Lesson here, just don't do it in front of your kids. Don't do it in front of your kids. Forsyth taught me that. My parents taught me that. So my wife, Andrea Scandra, Dr. Andrea Scandra, can you stand? Best thing happened. My son, Thomas Scandra, I used to call him a speech teacher, but he doesn't like that. He's a speech pathologist. Him and his wife, Shalise. Will y'all stand? And my grandson. Thomas was a pretty good football player, really good football player, all state, all conference in college. He was a kicker. Made some very big kicks over in Warren County for us. My daughter, Madison. Will you stand? Soccer player, basketball player, and Lamar. She was very good. Worked hard. We spent a lot of time in the gym getting better. Madison's getting married next week. Guy beside her is Jordan Williams. They're going to get married next week, June 20th. Congratulations, you all. Other family members, I have my sister. She's the oldest. She's 8 years older than me. Jane Pennington, you probably know from Allstate. Probably the best athlete in the family. Hit a big free throw one time and had the whole gym rocking. And my brother, Dennis Scandra. Dennis played on the 1980 state championship team. He was a defensive signal caller. He wasn't a captain, but he led that defense. One of the best football players I know. Taught me a lot about the game of football and has taught me a lot about life. When I needed a father, he was there for me. When I needed somebody, when I needed some direction, he's always provided that for me. Thank you. His wife, Grace, is here, and Jane is here with her son, Mark. I want to recognize them too. And these next few people are some big thank yous, big thank yous. I'm gonna start with my mother's sister, my Aunt Kizzy Mae. Great role model, very active in the church. I used to help her a lot with a prayer breakfast, doing tickets and stuff like that. I think she thought she bothered me, but it was an honor to do anything for her. She was a follower before we had social media. She kept pictures. She clipped out articles of anything that we did, whether it was me, Dennis, or anybody in the family. She collected those. You can go to her house now and probably see a picture of me in a football uniform. Thank you for that. She's here with her daughter, Maretta. Maretta told me a few years ago, she said, Calvin, you were so shy, we thought something was wrong with you. She probably, like I said, she was right. She definitely was right. Then I go to my dad's side of the family. I have my Aunt Alma Davis, true Bulldog fan. If you came to a game in the 70s and 80s, she was sitting on that business side, raising holy havoc at the opposing fans. She was there, getting it done. She was that 12th person. When I was young, going to games, that's her, Alma Davis. When I was young, going to games, watching some of the great players, I see Darryl Ogletree here. Next up behind me, I think, is Kenny Shannon. When I was young, going to watch him play, she used to make sure that I could get on the bus with my aunts and uncle, and they would take care of me, make sure I had food, make sure I had something to drink, make sure I had a great seat. They took care of me. When my mom decided to go back to school, when I was young, my 8th, 9th grade, she used to let me come to her house. I just go to her house and stay there while my mom was in school. So I just thank you for looking after me. Really, really, and truly appreciate that. With her today, 2 sons, Danny Davis, played on the state championship team in 1980, was a kicker. I ended up kicking in high school. Passed that on to my son, who I said was an all-state kicker, all-conference kicker in high school. It started in the backyard with Danny Davis and Nate Davis there. Nate said he was a punter. I remember punting with Nate. We used to punt over the trees in the backyard to get height and distance. Now, he said that he kicked about like me. Only difference was he said that he was pretty good kicking at pregame. When I kicked in pregame, I did so terrible sometimes. Coach Pierce would just say, stop kicking. Just stand. That's when I kicked my worst at pregame. But I learned a lot of techniques that I was able to pass on later on in life. In my career, I've coached several all-state punters because of the things that they taught me in the backyard. Next is my Aunt Margaret, just nurturing. Even when I go to her house today, just nurturing. At my house, they like to put those plugs in the wall. And I'm just as allergic to them as I can be. They make me sneeze, but my family doesn't believe that, so I have to hide them from them. But when I go to my Aunt Margaret's house, she immediately goes and unplugs them for me. Immediately. She said, I know they bother. And she's always been that way. Like I said, help me get on those fans and buses and stuff like that. She's here with my cousin Tammy, who's a couple years younger than me, who's a friend, very dear friend, gave good advice, even though she was a couple grades below me in high school, helped me along the way. Scooter, Walter Clemens, my aunt's son is here, true Bulldog fan, keeps me informed, send me pictures of all the nice stuff that you've built here and have going on. Let's see. And I have my traveling buddies, Gerald Kemp, Latanya Kemp. They're big Scandrett supporters. Gerald actually saw me play a high school game. We met in college. Him and my brother sitting back there together. They were college friends, but Gerald came down and watched me play when I was when I was in high school. And we ended up being roommates, I guess. I don't really say roommates because I didn't pay for rent. I stayed there with him. He allowed me to live there. But great friends. And then, last but not least, I am a pastor. I have a man of God here that took the time out to come be with us today. He's new at the church. I think we've worked on 2 years. We have been attending the church for about 20 years, and when he came, we finally joined. We're building something good there, building a good relationship between the two of us. I'm very appreciative of what he's pouring into my life here. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I just had to say thank you. I was sorry. I really about one person. This is very important. One person. Miss Mary Walker, where you staying? I asked her to come here because when my father passed away and he was killed at his nightclub, some of you in here know this story. Her son, the late Derek Hanson, helped me get out of the house. I was so terrified to go out of the house. It was July. School back then didn't start till like the third week of August. I was in that house. There was a white car that used to park in front of our house. And we used to call the police a lot. Her son, Derek, started coming to the house, hanging out with me. And I started going back outside. They used to allow me to come to the house, spend the night. She'd make these pancakes. It was the whole pan. I'd never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it, and they were great. Do you still do that, Mr. Walker? I'm coming back.
Glad he didn't have another table. Calvin, you're a blessing. For a minute, I was afraid he was going to call the preacher up here. Oh no, we're going to pass the plate tonight. No. All right. Our next inductee, let his feet do the talking. He was a track star. He won the state title in the 100 meters in a time of 10.2. You know, they call the 100-meter champion in the Olympics the world's fastest human. You win the state championship in the 100, you are a big deal. And tonight's inductee was a big deal. He finished third in the 220, earned a track scholarship to Middle Tennessee State University, Ohio Valley 100-meter champion. 4-time all-conference. He ran like the wind. And tonight we feel that breeze all the way up here on this stage where we induct him into the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2026. Please welcome Kenny Shannon.
It is an honor for me to have
the opportunity to stand before you tonight as an inducted of the 2026 Forsyth-Monroe County Hall of Fame class. I am truly blessed and honored to be an inductee in this year's class with so many other great men and women. I would like to thank the committee for its decision to induct me into the Hall of Fame. This is such an incredible honor and privilege and accomplishment. I will cherish it for the rest of my life. This honor would not be possible without the support of my family, friends, and coaches, and who have always been my biggest supporters. Again, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
And the table erupts over here. Now, I don't know if you checked out Kenny's footwear, but I think he's running the 100 tonight. He's got those new Nikes on tonight. They didn't have them back then when you ran, did they? Those old track spikes. You'd be even faster today. Our next inductee defines what excellence is when it comes to a sport. A clay shooting champion, a 4-time world champion, an 8-time national champion, 23 gold medals for Team USA, National Sports Shooter of the Year. One year, she won every major shooting title that there was. She is in the National Shooting Hall of Fame. Her skill led her to unparalleled feats, and tonight we cement her status as a true legend by saluting her as a member of the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2026. Please welcome Linda Joy Sosby.
Thank you for even considering me to join all these other great athletes. I'm not from Georgia, but I married into Georgia, and I call it my home lovingly. I came to Georgia as an adult, but my love for shooting transcends all locations. Love for sports, love for the strive for excellence. And as I've heard from everybody else talk about it, it changes your life, makes you a better person. It makes you realize what's important. And the times that you have to dig down deep to try to bring that up when times are hard, you learn that from competition. So I'm really grateful for that. And as Calvin said too, that he wanted to appreciate the one person that helped more than anyone was his wife. Well, I feel the same thing about my husband. My husband Hugh was there for me. He supported me. He urged me on when I didn't think I could do it. He would take me out, we'd practice. He would say, hey, let's try this shot. Go on out there, go 50, 60, 70 yards out there, try this one. He had all these great ideas. He carried my shooting bag in the rain. When it was freezing cold or blistering hot, he was there by my side. So I'd like to dedicate this award to my husband, Hugh. And I thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Our next inductee was a Hubbard High Tiger. And he is here tonight. He played football for the Tigers He also played football for the Wildcats, the FDSU Wildcats. He was a coach, didn't matter the sport. Baseball, football, basketball, track. Not the easiest profession being a coach. He then decided he wasn't getting enough abuse as a coach. Why not become a referee? Where he was excellent in football and basketball, he was an Air Force veteran. He was a Tiger, he was a Wildcat, he was a coach, he was a referee, and tonight we add a new title, that of Hall of Famer. Please join me in welcoming into the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame class of 2026, Jesse Walton.
Some came from Detroit. All right. All good, man. Please stand. Give yourselves a hand. He's 94 years old. This is all. All right. This is all. She's going to say a little something. I know she don't want to, but we'll make it say.
Daddy's been very excited about this event for months, since I told him about it. And every day he's asking me, is today the day? Today the day? Today the day? You sure? What time? And he loves sports. And the only thing I know that he loves more than sports is Monroe County. He loves Forsyth, and he loves the Walton family. So we are honored and humbled by your invitation, by your honor. We love you. Godspeed. God bless all of you. Thank you.
94-year-old Jesse Walton. Tonight is the night. Our final inductee was an MP Bulldog. He was an all-state performer as an end. He was also all-state in the shot put. He threw it 54 feet and beat everybody else. He went on to Clemson University where he was a Tiger, football and track, and actually was up there with Charles Dumas, former superintendent of schools here. Whether slicing through to make a tackle or hurling the shot lightly through the air, he performed like a champion. And tonight, we welcome him into the Forsyth-Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. Fred Whittemore could not be here tonight. We will welcome up UGA legend Charlie Whittemore, who's going to say a few words, but the honoree, Fred Whittemore.
94 hero. And it's hard to talk about your hero. But he wanted to be here. But he just couldn't come. He called me up first time and he said, I'm gonna be inducted and I'd like you to come. I said, yeah, I'll be there. Then he called me up and he said, I can't make it and you're gonna be the speaker. That was difficult. But it's really interesting, Fred's story. We were preacher's kids. My dad was a Methodist minister. We moved here when Fred was going into his senior year. And before I forget it, because I think Calvin got me started right, I'm going to introduce his son John Whittemore, his daughter-in-law Marla, and my wife Debbie, because I almost forgot to introduce her more than once. So we've got that. But Fred came here. He had made All-State at Washington Wells High School as a junior. And that summer, in June, he left and went to work at Lake Junaluska. The Methodist minister's sons, a lot of times, had a chance to work at Lake Junaluska in the summer. It was an interesting thing in North Carolina. But while we were there, he anticipated, my dad anticipated, us staying in Washington. But in the annual conference in the Methodist Church, the third week in June, my dad waited for the final day for appointments to be announced, and we were announced to come to Forsyth Methodist Church. My mom and dad drove up to Lake Junaluska to inform Fred. We didn't have cell phones back then. And you really couldn't make a long distance phone call with a preacher teaching. And they went up there and they told him. It was devastating. It really was. Because he was a really good player at Washington. He has a lot of friends. When we finally got to Forsyth, after my dad preached his last sermon in Washington, and we came for the fourth Sunday service here in Forsyth. The next day, my brother got on a bus, school bus, to go with a married person's high school team to Americus for a football camp. He didn't know a single person on that bus. He had met Coach Garrett. Coach Garrett was his coach. He was his coach in football as well as track. But this is what he said. This is what he sent me to say. He wanted to be here. He just couldn't make it. He said, thank you for this honor. It is truly a highlight of my life. I only attended Married Persons High School for one short senior year. But that was a pivotal year and had a significant impact on my life. Much of my future accomplishments I can trace back to my time at Married Persons and my classmates and the teachers and coaches and the friends. He had, like I said, he had made All-State his junior year and now he's moving away. Some of you guys know what it's like when a new guy moves in. You start picking on him a little bit, kind of figure out what he's going to do, how he's going to react. He said it was interesting. He said it was very interesting. He said after coming back, he ended up in the camp not knowing a single person. This is his words. He said, he had met Coach Garrett one time, and he said that it was an interesting time for a 17-year-old to be on his own, and it was really a very important part of his life. It was during this time that he met several people he wanted me to bring up. He became friends with his classmates like Hiram Harbuck. I believe I met Hiram's wife earlier. Rosalind McGee. Clarice Taylor. I believe I met Clarice. I think Clarice went on a date with him after they graduated and they went frog gigging. You can ask her. I think she will admit this. She met Carol Alexander, Bobby Jackson. He met Bobby Jackson, Tommy McCarty. All these people all became very important to him. When he went the first
night in camp. He was in a room with Lee Willingham and Glenn Stewart. These were all guys on the team, and they showed him around. And he had great teachers. He wanted me to mention these teachers. He mentioned the impact that Coach Garrett had on him. Coach Garrett coached him in football and track. He also had a teacher by the name of Miss Cersei, and he had a speech teacher named Clara Crowder. Now, Clara Crowder, this is what he said, taught him to speak without a southern accent. This was very important for my brother, because when he left Clemson after graduating, he went to Circleville, Ohio. Then he lived in Louisville, Kentucky. Then he went to Fort Wayne, Indiana. Then he went to St. Louis, Missouri. He finally got back kind of in the South, in Dallas. And then he came to Georgia and Atlanta, and he now lives he went to Sarasota, and he now lives in Brayton. But he said this was probably the most important thing that he had from Forsyth at Mary Persons, helping him. She helped him in speech. He ended up being in second place in the boys' declamation. I can't get that word out, it's stuck in there. Anyway, it's when you speak in public. He spoke at a competition and came second in state. His senior year at Mary Persons, he made All-State in Mary Persons. In Washington, he had played basketball and baseball, but he had torn his knee up the last game in his junior year. So when he came to Forsyth, he did not try to play baseball or football. So he had put the shot. I don't know, is he putting the shot or throwing the shot or tossing the shot or whatever it is. But Coach Garrett worked with him. He got him to where he told him, Coach Garrett said, you need to put the shot 50 times every day. You need to get your weights. We used to live, I don't know if y'all know this, in Parsons, you used to be across the street from the Methodist Church, and there was a garage back there, a 4-carport garage. Now, we didn't have one car, so we didn't use it. So he put the weights in there, and he lifted weights, and he ended up he won this Class B shot put championship. At that particular time, they had an all-comers event. All-comers meant the AAA, AA, single A, and this is what it had at this time in the 50s. AAA, AA, single A, B, and C all came together at Grady High School in a competitive championship in different events. He was a shot putter. He got there, and this was what he said. He said, my uniform was a pair of white swim trunks, a faded old yellow basketball jersey with Mary Persons on it. And he said, I had on baseball cleats. Now, at Mary Persons football field, there was up on the hill up there, they had a circle, a pad, a shot put ring. That's where he practiced. It was dirt. So when they got to Atlanta at Grady High School, and he found out that it was a concrete pad at Grady, he knew he couldn't throw the foot or put the shot or toss whatever it is, okay? He knew he was going to have a hard time doing that. So he went to my dad's car, the only car we had, opened the trunk, and he found a pair of old tennis shoes that he had been frog getting. It had blood, frog guts, and mud all over it. So when he walked out in front of all these AAA and AA and single A track guys that had their uniforms on, that had their nice shoes for putting the shot, and they had their little bag that they carried their shot put around it. He didn't have any of that. They were laughing. They were snickering. They were making fun of him. So he said that when he got ready, when he was called, in Class B, he went
toward the end. When he was called, he heard one guy say, "Okay, Mary, let's see how far you can throw it." Again, Mary Persons was on the back. They thought his name was Mary Persons. These guys were all, back then, you had all these academies, Richmond Academy, Boys High, Grady, all the different places in these big schools, and they got their uniforms on, and they're laughing and snickering, and they're, all of a sudden, those guys threw first. They threw it about 46 feet, then the guy hit it 48, then the guy hit it at 49, and they're all whooping and hollering. "Okay, Mary, let's see what you got." He threw it 53 feet, 8 inches, 8¼ inches. Now at that time, that was a record in the state of Georgia for all classifications. It stood for 10 years before it was broken. And I guarantee you, if they really wanted to put it on the paper, it's probably still a record for a guy that put the shot with frog guts, blood on his shoes. But it was a great time. He loved it. We were very fortunate. He ended up graduating from Forsyth. He had been recruited by Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, SMU. He had made a trip out to Georgia, but he wanted to be an engineer, so he kind of crossed Georgia off. But word had passed around that he had a knee injury, and they got soft on him. They kind of dropped off the top. So he ended up going to Gordon Military College and played 1 season. Clemson then signed him. He was on the on the track team. He was on the football team. He graduated from Clemson with a degree in engineering. As I said, he went to Circleville. He met John's mother, who became his wife, Joy Trone. It was an interesting thing. My mom, he called my mom and dad up and said, "I've met the girl I want to marry. We're getting married in about 3 months." My mom said, "Wait a minute. You hadn't even known this girl for 6 months." So we drove all the way up to Circleville, all the way up there. She was talking to my dad. She said, "You got to talk to this boy. And you got to get him to understand he can't make this kind of decision at this time. He needs a little time. Put it off." When we were coming back, she asked my dad, said, "Did you talk to the boy?" He said, called my mother, Sarah Lynn. "Sarah Lynn, I met Joy. And if the boy don't marry her, I will." The thing you have to realize, my dad was 6'4", 240 pounds, and he was like that old commercial they had that said, when he spoke, you listen, and then you shut up, right? But anyway, I know that's taking a little too much time. My wife has told me to get through with this. This is what he told me to say to me. So he said this. So he gave me that sign several times. She made me promise I wouldn't say anything about myself that I would talk about later. Moving to Forsyth was the best thing that ever happened to me. Tell the people at the banquet that this honor of the Hall of Fame will be cherished in my heart and will not go to my head. Thank you.
Calvin, you're off the hook. Calvin put everyone on point by thanking your wife. Yes, indeed. Blessings to all. All right, let's run them down one more time. Quentin Davis, Amy Higley, Tommy Ivey, Calvin Scandrett, Kenny Shannon, Linda Joy Sosby, Jesse Walton, Fred Whittemore, the class of 2026, Forsyth-Monroe
Thanks everyone for coming out tonight. Let's give Frank a round of applause. It's been a wonderful evening recognizing the accomplishments of this class. If y'all have any, if you left any donations on the table, we've got baskets by the door to drop them off at. If you receive an award tonight, please stay for pictures up